What's up, you guys? It's PokeGirl7 here, and today I'm going to talk about my opinion on every single starter Pokemon from all of the generations and all of their evolutions. This list is going to be mostly based on the Pokemon's looks, not really their relevancy in the game, and this is totally my personal opinion. This entire list is just what I think of these Pokemon, and it's going to be kind of like if I was seeing these Pokemon for the first time, what my first thought of them would be. I do want to say that my opinions on each of these Pokemon are not based on those Pokemon's evolutions. It's going to be strictly based on that specific Pokemon. So let's take Bulbasaur for example. I'm not going to base my opinion from Ivysaur or Venusaur. It's going to be strictly about Bulbasaur, in the same way with all of these Pokemon. So first off, we have Bulbasaur. I think Bulbasaur is adorable and very underrated. Nobody gives Bulbasaur enough love. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't really like Bulbasaur all that much. I always picked Charmander as my starter in the Kanto region, and I really thought Squirtle was adorable as well. But poor little Bulbasaur does not get enough attention, so I would say it's very underrated and very cute. Next up, we have Squirtle, and Squirtle is really cute, but there's nothing that amazing about it. Honestly, I think as an adult, I kind of find it a little bit more boring than I did as a kid. And then we have Charmander, which was always my personal favorite in Kanto. But guys, honestly, it's kind of cute, but it definitely isn't cuter than Bulbasaur. Next up, we have the Johto starters. First off is Chikorita. I think Chikorita is really cute and underrated. I don't really like it as much as Bulbasaur, but it still deserves some more love. And then we have Totodile, guys. Totodile was my first ever Pokemon. Pokemon Crystal was my first ever game, and Totodile was my starter, so it has a special place in my heart because of that. But Totodile is a little bit derpy, but it's very cute. Its 3D model and animation is kind of derpy, like in Pokemon Go.
Bruh.
It's kind of weird, but I love Totodile. And then we have Cyndaquil. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I think Cyndaquil is very overrated, like a lot of the fire starters throughout all of Pokemon, and it's just kind of ugly and ew. I'm not a big fan of Cyndaquil at all. Next up is the Hoenn starters. First off, we have Treecko. Guys, I love Treecko. Treecko is adorable and somewhat of a badass. He has like a little bit of a smirk on him. I love Treecko. And then we have Mudkip. Mudkip is another one of those derpy but cute Pokemon, kind of like with Totodile, and Mudkip has an amazing shiny. And then we have Torchic, which was actually my first Hoenn region starter the first time I ever played Pokemon Emerald, but honestly, I don't really find it that special. It's just cute and small, so I guess it has that going for it, but Torchic isn't really amazing. So Turtwig is pretty cute, but it kind of reminds me of an old man that forgot to put his dentures in. Piplup is absolutely adorable and was my first ever Sinnoh starter, so of course I'm a little bit biased, but does anybody actually think Piplup isn't cute?
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
And next up we have Chimchar. Chimchar is so full of energy and I love it so much, and it has an adorable animation in Pokemon Go. And now we have the Unova starters. First off, we have Snivy. I think Snivy is so pretty and unique. We've never really seen a Pokemon quite like Snivy before, so it definitely stands out. Then we have Oshawott, guys. Ooh. Oshawott might be my least favorite starter Pokemon of all time. I'm so sorry if you like Oshawott, but something about it is just kind of like off-putting and not very cute. Like, I don't feel like it has the cuteness that most starter Pokemon have. Something's just off about Oshawott. And then we have Tepig. I feel like Tepig does not get enough love. It's very underrated. It's one of the fire types I'm gonna stand up for. It's cute. I like pigs in real life. I like pig Pokemon, so I think that's why I like it so much. We'll get into its evolutions later. I'm not a big fan of its evolutions, but Tepig deserves a lot of love. So let's talk about Chespin.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
Yeah, Chespin's probably like my second least favorite starter Pokemon, just under Oshawott. I don't really like Chespin. Nothing about it is cute or exciting to me. I'm sorry, Chespin fans, but
That's my opinion!
Then we have Froakie, who comes in and saves the day because Froakie is one of the best starters of all time. I love Froakie. There's nothing to not like about it. It's absolutely adorable. And then we have Fennekin, definitely a feminine Pokemon for sure, and I absolutely love that. And I think it has a beautiful shiny as well. And now the Alola region. Rowlet was my first starter of the Alola region, and guys, it is absolutely so cute. It's one of my favorite starters ever, and guys, I love its little dance that it does where it kind of spins in a little circle. Oh, it is so cute. I love Rowlet. Then we have Popplio. I'm not a big fan of Popplio. I feel like it has a unique and creative design, but its nose is kind of big. It's kind of weird looking. I don't know. It just never really appealed to me much. And then we have Litten, who I think is cute, but a little bit overrated like with a lot of the fire types, but Litten's not bad. And now we have the Aloha Region starters. We don't know what these starters' evolutions look like yet, but we do know the first form, so let's talk about those. First off, we have Grookey. Guys, I feel like Grookey has been very underrated so far in the Pokemon community. I don't know what it is, but it seems like not as many people like a Grookey, but I think it is adorable. It was actually the starter that I thought I would choose when I first watched the trailer, but now that I've dug a little bit deeper, I kind of like Sobble a little bit more. But guys, Grookey deserves more love. It's really cute. And then we have Sobble, who is so darn cute that I could cry.
That's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And then we have Scorbunny, who is kind of cute and like really energetic in the trailer, but it's just like my least favorite out of the three. I think it's a little bit ugly in a way. Like, I said it was cute, but it's also kind of ugly, so I don't know. I just feel like Scorbunny isn't going to be the one for me. Okay, so now that we have all of the first forms of these starters out of the way, let's go into the middle evolutions, which are kind of the ones that are always sort of left out and forgotten about. First off, we have Ivysaur, and Ivysaur is just kind of forgettable, honestly.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
And then we have Wartortle. I think Wartortle has like a really cool and unique design, and it has an awesome shiny. And then we have Charmeleon, which I really loved as a kid. I used to think Charmeleon was awesome. It has a decent design. I don't really love it as much as an adult, but it's pretty cool. And then we have Bayleaf, who is very underrated. I think Bayleaf has an awesome design. That leaf blade on its head is awesome. Then we have Crocodile. Crocodile is just a little bit weird. I don't really understand the design for Crocodile. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I can't think of like what it reminds me of, but like the spots on its belly are kind of weird compared to like Totodile and Feraligatr. It just doesn't really fit in. And then we have Quilladin, literally my least favorite middle evolution ever because it's so boring and like forgettable. I'm sorry, Quilladin. It's the same thing as like with Cyndaquil. I really just don't like these Pokemon. Next, we have Grovyle. I think Grovyle is one of the coolest middle evolutions of all time. It honestly could just stand alone and never evolve again, and it would be amazing. And then we have Marshtomp. Marshtomp is just a little bit forgettable and kind of weird. And Combusken is decent. I think it's a cool design, and the name was really cool. I thought they were creative with Combusken, but it's definitely forgettable. You're gonna see a little bit of a pattern with these middle evolutions. Next up, we have Grotto. I think Grotto is pretty cool, and it's a nice transition from Turtwig to Torterra. And then we have Prinplup. I literally always forget Prinplup's name and the way that it looks, so I would say this is another forgettable one. And then we have Monferno, which is one of the better middle evolutions. I think Monferno is awesome. I love everything about it. Next up, we have Servine. I think Servine is gorgeous. It's one of the prettiest starter Pokemon ever. And next up, we have Dewott. I think Dewott is like the coolest out of its three evolutions. And then we have Pignite.
Some of y'all is fat and ugly and unattractive, but that is okay. Just be who you are.
And then we have Quilladin. Ew. Thank God Braixen came in and was absolutely adorable and a little bit badass as well. And then we have Frogadier. I think Frogadier is a nice transition from Froakie to Greninja. It's one of the ones that actually fits in and makes sense. And next up we have Dartrix. Honestly, Dartrix is very forgettable. I love Rowlet, but I kind of forget about Dartrix a lot, and I just feel like it could have been made cooler. Then we have Brionne. Honestly, Brionne is cute, but I'm not really like obsessed with it. Then we have Torracat. Guys, honestly, Torracat seems to be very underrated in the Pokemon community. I don't know why, but it seems like a lot of people just forget about this one or don't really care about it, but I think Torracat has a really cool design. And now it's time to talk about the exciting part, the final starter evolutions. Okay, let's get started with Venusaur. I think Venusaur is beautiful and very underrated, just like Bulbasaur. I feel like it doesn't get enough love. How could you not love a beautiful Pokemon with a flower on top? It is so cute. And then we have Blastoise. I really liked Blastoise as a kid because of its water cannons. I thought that was awesome. Now that I'm older, I don't really care for Blastoise. It's definitely my least favorite out of all the three Gen 1 starters. So Blastoise, like, it's cool, he can hang, but he's not the coolest.
What are those?
Then we have the fan favorite Charizard. Now Charizard is like annoyingly overrated, but it makes sense because it has an awesome design. Like it's literally perfect. Then we have Meganium. Meganium is so underrated, guys. It's literally a freaking dinosaur. How could you not love that? And it's beautiful, might I add. Next up is Feraligatr. Feraligatr was my first ever fully evolved starter because like I said, Totodile was my first Pokemon. So I'm a little bit biased towards Feraligatr, but honestly I think it's got a really cool design and it's kind of got that tough feel that the final evolution should have. And then we have Typhlosion. I know I've been really hard on Cyndaquil and Quilladin up to this point, but Typhlosion is the best one of the 3 evolutions. And then we have Sceptile. Sceptile is one of the coolest grass type starters in all of Pokemon. I think it represents the grass typing perfectly. And then we have Swampert. I think Swampert is like decent, but I definitely forget about it a lot, but it does have a perfect shiny. And then we have Blaziken. Blaziken is like a little bit goofy, I'll be honest. Something about it's weird, but it's still cool somehow. I love Blaziken. And then we have Torterra. I think Torterra is awesome and underrated. I love the concept of the world turtle. It's so cool and I feel like more people should be talking about Torterra. And then we have Empoleon. Guys, Empoleon gets a lot of hate. People just don't like the way Empoleon looks, but I think it has a very unique and creative design and it shows it's still in water typing perfectly. And then we have Infernape. Does anyone not like Infernape? Infernape is freaking awesome. Next up is Emboar, and honestly Emboar is just kind of like unappealing and it's not as bad as I've heard some people say, but I just don't really like it. And then we have Cimarrot. Like, what the heck were they thinking? Ew. And then Superior saves the day with its elegance and beauty. I think Superior is so beautiful and it almost has like a royal feel to it. So I think it's one of the prettiest starter Pokemon. Next up is Chestnut. Guys, this is probably my least favorite finally evolved starter Pokemon. Something about it is just whack. The first time I saw it, I was like, what the heck is that?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
And then we have Greninja. Everyone knows this already, but let me tell you, Greninja is the greatest starter of all time. Or at least one of them. And then we have Delphox. I really like the idea of Delphox's design. I think it's really creative, but I kind of like its previous evolutions more. And then we have Decidueye. I love Decidueye. It's a ghost type. Hello. Next up is Primarina. I think Primarina is really pretty, but I don't know. It's still not very appealing to me. It's a little bit better than its previous stages, but something about it's off. Next up is Incineroar. Incineroar is just kind of like awkward. I don't know. It just makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, you swole, Incineroar. You swole. So those are my opinions on every starter Pokemon and all of their evolutions. So let me know in the comments down below which ones you agree and disagree with. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel to join my Gengar gang. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!